For many women, once they hit their 40s, the impact of perimenopause or menopause can drastically change their lives.
Misinterpretation of the Women's Health Initiative and the subsequent demonization of hormones in perimenopausal and postmenopausal therapy for women. And as a result of that, many women have been significantly harmed.
For decades, hormone replacement therapy for women, that is estrogen or estrogen plus progesterone, has helped women alleviate the symptoms of menopause, including hot flashes, dryness, mood swings, weight gain, and poor sleep quality.
There's a secret in Hollywood, and it's not what you think. It's not plastic surgery. It's not Ozempic. It's not even personal trainers or private chefs. It's something medical, something controversial, something that's been used quietly for decades by the most famous celebrities, while the rest of the world is told it's dangerous, unnecessary, or just vanity. Today, that secret ends, and by the end, you'll know exactly what they're hiding, and more importantly, why you deserve access to it too. In this video, I'm going to show you the real story behind celebrities' anti-aging secrets. We're going to count down the 15 most shocking celebrities' hormone replacement therapy transformations that prove this isn't just about managing menopause anymore. It's become Hollywood's secret fountain of youth, and what they're not telling you could be dangerous. Before we continue, please like this video and subscribe to our channel and drop a comment letting us know where you're watching from. Let's see how many of you are in perimenopause without even knowing it.
Nobody had said anything about what a period is and what the hormones were going to do and all of that.
With over 20 years hosting The Oprah Show and now running the OWN network, Oprah has unparalleled reach. When she revealed she uses bioidentical estrogen patches to address hot flashes, mood swings, and energy depletion, she wasn't just sharing personal information, she was giving millions of women permission to seek help. Oprah described how hormone therapy helped her reclaim her energy and mental clarity during a time when she felt her body was betraying her. By positioning it as proactive health management rather than anti-aging vanity, she provided a framework that empowered women to seek help without shame. When Oprah speaks, millions listen. Her candid discussions on a major media platform helped destigmatize HRT for an entire generation of women who had been suffering in silence, believing that menopause symptoms were just something you had to endure. She shifted the narrative from embarrassed whispers to open wellness conversation, and in doing so, she changed what was possible for women to discuss publicly about their bodies and their health. But Oprah wasn't alone in breaking the silence. Another powerhouse was fighting her own battle behind the scenes.
One of the things a phrase we coined when we got here was we want the White House to be the people's house, to really be the people's house.
You would think that being one of the most admired women in the world, a former First Lady with access to the best health care imaginable, would make menopause easier to manage. But Michelle Obama's story proves that no amount of privilege makes hot flashes disappear or mood swings any less real. After leaving the White House, Michelle revealed that she used HRT for hot flashes and menopausal symptoms. What made her admission so powerful was the context. She had been managing these symptoms while serving as First Lady, maintaining composure during diplomatic events, state dinners, and high-stakes meetings. During her tenure, Michelle Obama maintained an image of strength and poise through some of the most stressful situations imaginable. What many didn't know was that she was simultaneously battling the debilitating symptoms of menopause. Her decision to use HRT wasn't about vanity or anti-aging. It was about being able to function at the highest levels while her body underwent a massive hormonal shift. Michelle's admission sent a powerful message. Seeking help for menopause isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Her story framed HRT as what it truly is, a medical intervention for a medical transition. If the former First Lady needed help managing menopause, then maybe, just maybe, other women could give themselves permission to seek help too. While Michelle struggled privately, our next celebrity faced something even more challenging: early menopause that threatened to derail her career entirely.
So you can imagine I left the office in pieces and filled with panic and shame, like this was the end of everything.
When most people think of menopause, they picture women in their 50s. But actress Naomi Watts was blindsided when she experienced early and severe menopause symptoms in her 30s, a condition that affects millions but remains largely invisible. Early menopause, also called premature ovarian insufficiency, arrived when Naomi was in the prime of her Hollywood career. The timing couldn't have been worse. Just as her acting work was thriving, her body was in crisis. She experienced severe hot flashes that would strike during filming, brain fog that affected her ability to remember lines, and emotional turbulence that impacted her relationships. Naomi has spoken openly about how early menopause made her feel isolated and broken. HRT became her lifeline, not just to continue working, but to feel like herself again. What sets Naomi apart is what she did next. Rather than just sharing her story, she built an entire company dedicated to helping women navigate menopause. She founded Stripes, a menopause wellness company that provides products, information, and community for women going through this transition. Her advocacy has been so impactful that she's become a leading voice in destigmatizing both early menopause and HRT use. She turned her crisis into a mission, proving that sometimes our biggest struggles become our most meaningful work. But not every celebrity was prepared for how perimenopause would affect their wellness empire.
I remember when my mother went through menopause and it was like such a big deal, and I think there was grief around it for her and all of these emotions. And
when Gwyneth Paltrow, founder of Goop, the controversial wellness empire, started talking about perimenopause and HRT, it sparked a different kind of conversation. Here was a woman who'd built a billion-dollar brand on alternative wellness, and she was advocating for conventional medical intervention. For years, Goop had been criticized for promoting unproven wellness treatments, jade eggs, coffee enemas, and expensive supplements. But when it came to her own perimenopause symptoms, Gwyneth didn't rely solely on adaptogens and meditation. She turned to evidence-based hormone therapy. This wasn't a betrayal of her wellness philosophy, it was an evolution. She openly discussed using HRT for energy depletion, sleep disruption, and mood changes, while also emphasizing nutrition, exercise, and stress management. Her approach was integrative, combining HRT with lifestyle changes rather than treating them as opposing philosophies. Through Goop, Gwyneth has created extensive menopause content, bringing together actual doctors and medical experts to discuss HRT options. While her platform has its controversies, this particular advocacy has been praised by medical professionals for helping normalize a legitimate medical treatment. She's used her massive platform to educate women about perimenopause, the transition phase that can begin in your 40s or even late 30s, and the various treatment options available.
I had no idea. In fact, when they did the show, they hired me the night before I started.
British actress Jane Seymour's menopause experience wasn't just uncomfortable, it was agonizing. And her journey reveals the cost of suffering unnecessarily before seeking treatment. Jane has been candid about experiencing severe joint pain, crushing fatigue, and emotional symptoms that made her feel like she was losing herself. As someone who needed to maintain an active career in her 50s and 60s, the pain became impossible to hide. She tried managing symptoms naturally for months. She attempted lifestyle changes, natural approaches, and sheer willpower, but the symptoms only worsened. After starting estrogen therapy, Jane described it as getting her life back. The joint pain subsided, her energy returned, and the emotional turbulence stabilized. What strikes her most, looking back, is how much time she lost to unnecessary suffering. Months of her life dominated by symptoms that had a medical solution. She's expressed regret about not starting sooner, about buying into the cultural narrative that women should just tough it out through menopause. Jane's story serves as a powerful reminder that there's no virtue in suffering. Menopause is a medical transition, and just like any other medical condition, it deserves proper treatment. While Jane eventually found relief, our next celebrity faced a different challenge. Symptoms so severe they destroyed her ability to sleep.
I mean, it's all about what makes you feel good. It's nobody's business
Real Housewives star Lisa Rinna has never been one to hide her struggles, but her experience with menopause-related insomnia and anxiety became so severe it threatened everything she'd built. Lisa has described lying awake night after night, her mind racing, her body experiencing temperature fluctuations that made rest impossible. The lack of sleep created a vicious cycle. Exhaustion led to increased anxiety, which made sleeping even harder. For someone whose career requires being camera-ready and quick-witted on reality television, this was devastating. The insomnia wasn't just an inconvenience, it was affecting her work, her relationships, and her mental health. Lisa specifically chose bioidentical HRT, which uses hormones that are molecularly identical to those the body produces naturally. She uses both estrogen and progesterone. For her, this approach provided the relief she desperately needed. Within weeks of starting treatment, her sleep patterns normalized and the anxiety that had become overwhelming began to lift. The transformation was dramatic, from barely sleeping to restored rest patterns, from constant anxiety to manageable stress levels. Lisa has become a vocal advocate for bioidentical HRT, encouraging women not to suffer through menopause symptoms that have medical solutions. Her platform on reality TV has allowed her to reach women who might never have heard about these options otherwise. She's been open, honest, and unapologetic about her choice to use hormone therapy, helping to normalize what should be a standard healthcare conversation. Lisa's insomnia was resolved with HRT, but what happens when menopause arrives suddenly, medically induced, rather than natural?
My pain is real. Your pain is real.
Comedian Amy Schumer's path to HRT wasn't through natural menopause. It was through a hysterectomy that threw her body into immediate hormonal crisis, and her decision-making process reveals the complex reality of surgical menopause. Amy underwent a hysterectomy to address severe endometriosis that had plagued her for years, but removing her uterus meant entering menopause immediately rather than gradually. This isn't a gentle transition, it's a hormonal cliff. Without HRT, the symptoms would have been devastating. Instant hot flashes, mood crashes, bone density concerns, and cardiovascular impacts. Surgical menopause is different from natural menopause because there's no gradual adjustment period. Your hormones don't slowly decline, they drop off precipitously. Rather than waiting to see how bad symptoms would get, Amy started estrogen and progesterone therapy immediately after surgery. This wasn't about anti-aging or aesthetics, it was about preventing a medical crisis. She's been open about how the combination of relief from endometriosis pain plus managed menopause symptoms gave her a quality of life she hadn't experienced in years. The hysterectomy solved one problem, and HRT prevented another from beginning. Amy's characteristic humor about her dead uterus has helped demystify hysterectomy and surgical menopause for millions of women. By treating it as a normal medical procedure rather than something shameful, she's contributed to a broader cultural shift around women's health. She's shown that you can be young, vital, and in surgical menopause, and that managing it medically is a smart, proactive choice. Amy's surgical menopause was managed from day one. But what about celebrities who struggled through natural menopause before finding HRT? Amy managed her crisis from day one. But imagine playing one of TV's most iconic sexually confident characters while secretly battling the very symptoms that would destroy that confidence. The irony is almost cruel, and she suffered in silence for too long.
I could see my face getting redder and redder, and I thought, wow, this is overwhelming.
Sex and the City icon Kim Cattrall played one of TV's most sexually confident characters, but behind the scenes, she was silently battling menopause symptoms that made her feel anything but confident. While filming later seasons of Sex and the City, Kim was experiencing the full spectrum of menopausal symptoms: hot flashes, sleep disruption, mood changes, and the very real impact on libido and confidence. The contrast between her on-screen persona as the sexually liberated Samantha Jones and her private reality was jarring. She suffered largely in silence, believing, like many women of her generation, that this was just something you endured. The irony of playing such a confident sexual character while privately struggling with symptoms that affected her sense of self wasn't lost on her. When Kim finally started hormone therapy, the relief was profound. The symptoms that had made her feel invisible and diminished began to subside. She later spoke about how transformative it was to feel like herself again, to reclaim the energy and confidence that menopause had stolen. Kim's decision to eventually discuss her menopause journey publicly was driven by realizing how many women were suffering the same way she had. Her message was clear: there's no reason to suffer in silence when medical help is available. If Samantha Jones herself needed hormone therapy, then maybe other women could admit they needed help too. Kim eventually found relief, but our next celebrity took a different path that became both controversial and influential. Kim eventually found relief and spoke out. But no one, and I mean no one, has advocated longer, louder, and more controversially than the woman we're about to discuss. She built a second career on this, wrote bestsellers, and remained vocal until her death in 2023. She's both a hero and a lightning rod.
And when I started really researching perimenopause, you realize it's our most dangerous passage.
No discussion of celebrity HRT advocacy would be complete without Suzanne Somers, the actress who became one of the most vocal and controversial proponents of bioidentical hormone therapy for decades, a stance that made her both a hero to millions and a target of medical criticism. Suzanne Somers didn't just use bioidentical HRT, she built an entire second career around advocating for it. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, when discussion of menopause was still largely taboo, she wrote best-selling books detailing her regimen and encouraging women to explore hormone therapy options. She didn't whisper about it, she shouted from the rooftops. She started bioidentical HRT in the 1990s and continued advocating until her death in 2023, making her one of the longest and most persistent voices in this space. The medical establishment had mixed reactions. Some praised her for opening a necessary conversation. Others criticized her for promoting unproven anti-aging claims and potentially dangerous hormone cocktails without sufficient medical oversight. Her claims extended beyond symptom relief to anti-aging and longevity promises that many doctors felt were overstated. Regardless of the controversy, Suzanne's advocacy had an undeniable impact. She gave millions of women permission to ask their doctors about hormone therapy when they might have suffered in silence. She challenged the cultural narrative that women should just accept aging and its symptoms. And while her specific protocols remain debated, her role in destigmatizing the conversation cannot be denied. When Suzanne passed away in 2023, tributes poured in from women crediting her with changing their lives. Whether you agreed with all her methods or not, she forced a conversation that the medical community and society at large had been avoiding. Suzanne's advocacy was pioneering, but polarizing. Our next celebrity is taking a more measured but equally impactful approach.
Anybody out there that is trying estrogen or combination HRT for the first time, don't worry, it takes a while to kick in.
British television presenter Davina McCall has become the UK's most prominent menopause advocate, and her approach to HRT, including testosterone, has sparked a national conversation about women's health care. Davina didn't just address estrogen and progesterone, she tackled the third hormone that women lose during menopause, testosterone. While testosterone is often thought of as a male hormone, women produce it too, and its decline during menopause can cause debilitating fatigue, loss of motivation, and reduced libido. Davina's openness about adding testosterone to her HRT regimen has helped normalize a treatment option many women don't even know exists. She's been clear that testosterone transformed her energy levels and overall sense of vitality in ways that estrogen and progesterone alone didn't achieve. Her Channel 4 documentary, Sex, Myths, and the Menopause, became a cultural phenomenon in the UK. She interviewed leading menopause specialists, shared stories from women across the country, and provided clear, medically accurate information about HRT options. The program directly influenced policy discussions about HRT prescription costs and accessibility in the NHS. Following its broadcast, GP appointments for menopause consultations surged. Pharmacies reported HRT prescription increases. More importantly, women armed with information from the documentary were able to advocate effectively for themselves when doctors were dismissive. Davina's advocacy contributed to real policy change. In the UK, each prescription traditionally required a separate fee. For women on HRT needing estrogen, progesterone, and possibly testosterone, this meant triple costs monthly. Davina's advocacy contributed to the introduction of the HRT prescription prepayment certificate, capping annual costs significantly. This policy change directly impacted hundreds of thousands of women who were rationing medications due to cost. Her visibility also sparked workplace conversations, with major UK companies beginning to implement menopause policies, providing desk fans, flexible working arrangements, and trained managers. Davina has described HRT as life-changing, restoring her energy, mental clarity, and overall sense of well-being. But more than her personal transformation, her impact has been systemic, changing how an entire country talks about and accesses menopause care. Davina's advocacy has transformed UK policy. But what about celebrities who struggled to get diagnosed in the first place? Davina's success shows what happens when advocacy works, but what about when the healthcare system fails you? When you're given the wrong diagnosis, the wrong medication, and you waste years being treated for something you don't even have. That's exactly what happened next.
And you prescribed HRT, which actually worked so well for me. It's just 2 patches on your bottom. That's it.
Scottish television presenter Lorraine Kelly's menopause story reveals a dangerous pattern: how women's hormonal symptoms are frequently misdiagnosed as mental health conditions, leading to years of inappropriate treatment. Lorraine described feeling a persistent flatness that she couldn't shake, like life had lost its color. Her doctor diagnosed depression and prescribed antidepressants, but the medication didn't help because the problem wasn't depression, it was menopause. She spent months, possibly years, being treated for the wrong condition while her actual hormonal imbalance went unaddressed. The symptoms looked like depression: low mood, lack of motivation, persistent feelings of emptiness. But the cause was hormonal, not psychological. When a different healthcare provider finally recognized that her symptoms aligned with perimenopause, everything changed. Starting HRT, particularly estrogen, lifted the flatness within weeks. It wasn't that she had been depressed. Her brain was simply starved of the hormones it needed to function optimally. Estrogen plays a crucial role in mood regulation, and its decline can mimic depression perfectly. The relief wasn't gradual. It was dramatic and relatively quick once she started appropriate treatment. Lorraine has become passionate about warning other women. If you're experiencing depression-like symptoms in your 40s or 50s, insist on evaluating hormone levels before accepting a mental health diagnosis. The treatment is completely different, and misdiagnosis can waste precious years. Her story highlights a systemic problem in healthcare where women's hormonal symptoms are routinely attributed to mental health issues, leading to inappropriate treatment and prolonged suffering.
Menopause could wrap itself up quickly in one woman and be a 10-year period in another, pun intended, another woman's case.
Drew Barrymore has done something remarkable in 2024 and 2025. She's sharing her perimenopause journey as it happens, giving millions of women a real-time look at the struggle and the solutions. Unlike celebrities who share their menopause stories only after they've conquered them, Drew is documenting the messy middle. She's talked about breaking into sweats during commercial breaks of her talk show, feeling inexplicably emotional about minor things, and struggling with weight that won't budge despite exercise. The rawness of her honesty is what makes it so powerful and relatable. What makes Drew's approach powerful is that she's using her platform to educate. She's brought menopause specialists onto the Drew Barrymore show, asked the questions women are afraid to ask their doctors, and demystified HRT options. For women in their 40s who might not even realize their symptoms are perimenopause, Drew's visibility is invaluable. She's creating awareness at exactly the age when women need it most, when symptoms are starting but often go unrecognized. Drew has revealed using a combination of approaches: hormone therapy for symptom management, lifestyle modifications, and simply giving herself grace during a major biological transition. Her message is clear: there's no shame in needing help, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution. She's normalizing the struggle for younger viewers who might be watching her show for entertainment and unexpectedly getting crucial health education. Drew's journey is ongoing, but other celebrities have been navigating perimenopause quietly until recently deciding to speak up.
You know, we all have our times where things get a little tough for us, and it's just about being like,
Actress Gabrielle Union's discussion of perimenopause and symptom management added a crucial dimension to the conversation: how Black women experience menopause differently and why representation in this dialogue matters desperately. While menopause has been underrepresented in general, the experiences of Black women have been virtually invisible. Gabrielle's willingness to discuss her perimenopause journey matters because Black women statistically experience menopause differently: earlier onset, more severe symptoms, and worse health outcomes. Yet they're dramatically underrepresented in menopause research and conversations. When the default face of menopause is white and affluent, it leaves too many women without representation or resources. Studies show that Black women's pain and symptoms are taken less seriously by healthcare providers. When Gabrielle talks about her struggles getting proper care and symptom management, she's highlighting a systemic problem. Her platform brings attention to how medical bias affects menopause treatment, making it harder for Black women to access HRT and other interventions even when desperately needed. The intersection of gender bias and racial bias creates compounded barriers. Gabrielle has discussed using both hormone management strategies and lifestyle approaches, but more importantly, she's advocated for Black women to be assertive with their healthcare providers. Her message: your symptoms are real, you deserve treatment, and you have to advocate fiercely for yourself in a system that may not prioritize your care. By speaking out, Gabrielle is helping to close a representation gap that has left too many women of color suffering without the information or resources they need. Representation matters, and so does timing. Our next celebrity's openness about perimenopause came at a crucial moment in her career.
Okay, that part of who I am is over now. It's fading, but I'm kind of excited.
Actress Katherine Heigl's public discussion of perimenopause in her 40s highlights a reality many don't realize. Menopause transition can begin much earlier than expected, often during peak career years. Katherine has been open about experiencing perimenopause symptoms in her mid-40s, a time frame that surprises many who think menopause is exclusively a 50s phenomenon. Perimenopause can begin anywhere from late 30s to early 50s, and for women in demanding careers, the timing can feel particularly cruel. Brain fog during auditions, energy crashes on set, mood fluctuations during press tours. These aren't conducive to career success in the competitive world of Hollywood. For actresses in Hollywood, admitting to perimenopause can feel like announcing you're aging out of relevance. Katherine's willingness to discuss it publicly challenges that stigma. She's essentially saying, I'm in my prime, my career is thriving, and I'm also navigating perimenopause. All of these things can coexist. She's addressed symptoms and possible hormone use, helping normalize that women in their 40s can be at the peak of their careers while also managing hormonal changes. By speaking about perimenopause openly, Catherine is helping younger women recognize their symptoms earlier. Too many women in their 40s suffer for years, not realizing their insomnia, weight gain, and mood changes are hormonal rather than personal failings. They blame themselves, their discipline, or their mental health when the actual cause is a predictable biological process. Catherine's visibility helps women understand what's happening in their bodies sooner. Catherine is helping normalize perimenopause for her generation.
Was a piece of the whole puzzle that I had never heard of anybody talking about.
Brooke has been using bioidentical HRT for years to manage menopause symptoms, and her experience represents what successful long-term hormone therapy looks like. She's maintained her energy, career, and quality of life through a transition that derails many women. Her continued success challenges the narrative that HRT is inherently dangerous or should only be used short-term. The medical guidelines have evolved, and for many women, long-term use under proper supervision is both safe and beneficial. Brooke specifically chose bioidentical hormones, those that are molecularly identical to what the body naturally produces. For her, this approach felt more aligned with supporting her body's natural processes, rather than introducing synthetic alternatives. While the medical community debates whether bioidentical hormones are truly superior to synthetic versions, what matters is that her chosen treatment has worked effectively for years without adverse effects. Brooke has encouraged women not to fear HRT based on outdated information. She points to modern research showing that for many women, especially those starting HRT during perimenopause or early menopause, the benefits significantly outweigh the risks. Her long-term positive experience serves as a living testament to the quality of life HRT can provide. She represents the possibility that hormone therapy isn't just a short-term fix, but can be a sustainable long-term health strategy. Brooke's decades of success show HRT can be a long-term solution, but beyond individual success stories, what does the bigger picture reveal? So there you have it, 15 celebrity HRT transformations that prove menopause doesn't have to be silent suffering. From Oprah breaking the silence to Michelle Obama managing it as First Lady. From Naomi's 36-year-old crisis to Davina's years of misdiagnosis. From Davina's policy-changing documentary to the dozens who benefit privately while staying quiet. But here's what matters most. You now have information that millions of women don't have. You understand what HRT is, how it works, which symptoms it treats, and why the healthcare system is failing us. You know that doctors get 1 hour of training, that Black women face compounded barriers, and that celebrity privilege reveals what should be available to everyone. The revolution these celebrities started isn't finished, it's just beginning. And now, you're part of it. Drop a comment below. Which celebrity transformation shocked you most? Did you learn something new about menopause? And have you, or someone you know, struggled with getting proper care? Let's continue this conversation. If this video helped you, smash that like button and share it with every woman in your life who needs to hear this. Subscribe for more content that breaks stigmas and provides real health education. Remember, when Oprah speaks, millions listen. But when millions speak together, that's when systems change. I'll see you in the next one. Stay informed, stay empowered, and never accept "just deal with it" as medical advice.